Hello and welcome back. Today we're going to talk tech. On my chart table here is a wide variety of different types of cameras, equipment, mounts, all that kind of stuff that I use to make videos for my channel. So I thought on today's video, we're going to go through what my most used piece of kit is and what I think if you're just starting out, what you actually need. Because I've got quite a lot of stuff here that doesn't get used that much. So we're going to have a little talk through. We're going to talk about the cameras, their pros and cons. We're going to go through the mounts that I use and any other little bits in between. So if you're interested in starting up your own channel or buying a new camera for your current channel, then this might be a good one for you, as I've got quite a lot here. Full disclosure, before starting up this YouTube channel and before COVID happened, I used to work as a photographer and videographer for food, drinks and events and stuff like that. So some of these pieces of kit I would never have bought as a YouTuber, if that's what I'm classed as now, or as a vlogger. It just happens that I've still got them from the old business and I've never sold them on afterwards, and I use them because I think it makes stuff look a bit more cinematic and cool, but not necessarily suited or what I would call necessary for anything YouTube based. But they're cool pieces of kit and I thought I'd talk through them while they're here anyway.
Hello everyone, I completely forgot to mention whilst I was recording these videos that everything I'm about to mention in this video and all the equipment is listed on my Amazon storefront. If you're looking for any of the gear, it's all there in one place to make life easier for you. And if you choose to use those links, it doesn't cost you anything extra, it just helps support my channel while I keep making these videos for you. So absolutely no pressure, but it's there if you want it and if you find it useful. And as always, thank you for watching and your continued support. Anyway, back on with the video.
So let's get cracking. I'm going to do a list. We'll do from least used camera kit to most used camera kit, and then we'll go through mounts and stuff afterwards. This video will be chaptered because I can imagine I'm going to waffle quite a bit, because when I talk about stuff I'm quite passionate about, it's quite hard sometimes to shut me up. So we'll get on with it that way. I'll chapter it all, so if you want to skip through to which camera you want to look at in particular, you can skip ahead to that bit there. Don't worry about it. So I'm going to clear this table off and then we'll start off with the first camera. So let's start with my least used camera, and it's going to be this, the humble mobile phone. Everyone's got one, so they're brilliant for people wanting to start a channel. You can film whatever's going on, they're quick to use, they're great for social media video because it's quickly point and shoot, you're there in the moment, you can capture it and it's done. For long form content, I don't use mine. I've used it for maybe 6 shots in the last year. Because for me, it serves too many other purposes. First and foremost, it's my mobile phone. I use it for navigation, communication, and I need the battery in that for that. So the biggest downside is that you need it for so many other things that you've only got so much battery. So you've got to keep carrying battery packs to charge it so you can carry on using it as a camera and everything else. Or you have a second mobile phone maybe that you just use as or an old one that you can just use as a camera when you're out and about. But for me, I like having things that are proprietary, so those things that are designed for a purpose. And for me, the mobile phone is great for in the moment, like I said, in the moment and social media stuff, but for long form content, for travel videos, anything not portrait, landscape, then I just don't use it, except for the odd bit in between where I want a quick shot or I think of something. But other than that, great for people starting out. You can film whatever you want, you can set it up, you can put on a mount, fine. But if you're going to keep making things on a consistent basis and you're going to be sailing at the same time and you need it for your navigation, it's really hard to have it do both things and keep a full charge. So for me, bottom of the pile. Okay, so next up, my second least camera used, which is a shame because I really like this camera, but you'll see why in the cons in a second. This is the Osmo Pocket 3. It is a fantastic vlogging camera. The batteries, it's got an internal battery, but it also clips on these external ones that you can charge independently to give it extra battery time. You do also need to plug one of these in to charge the internal one. Slight downside, but it's fine. I've got 3 batteries for it, which makes it nice and easy. And it is a very good vlogging camera, especially with the gimbal, because it means you can keep nice stable footage as you go in. It's got face tracking, so it can follow you around, which I've used before on a boat, so that you can, it's almost like having a person there following you with the camera. However, the biggest downside is that it's not waterproof. So when you're doing sailing content, it's not ideal. Yes, it could probably sit underneath the spray hood and film cockpit content. That's probably about it. And then when you get off the boat and you're exploring the local area, fantastic. It will keep your face always in frame and it will be great for that. But as an all-rounder, it's not brilliant. Because for me, if I'm going to invest the money in the camera, then it needs to be able to serve more than one purpose. It's quite a money sink into one of these. I bought this originally before I even turned my channel into a sailing channel, and this was my vlogging camera for my outdoor adventures. When I was hiking, I was camping, and it was brilliant for that because it stayed waterproof. No, it stayed out of the water, out of the rain. But when I transitioned to the sailing content, then it kind of got left by the wayside. So now it's only really used if I go on shore and if I am somewhere where I know it's not going to get wet. Other than that, I just can't risk it, which is a shame because it is a fantastic piece of kit, very clever camera, and can do some really cool things. But for me, second least used now, purely because of its limitations. But if you're looking for a camera to go on shore with, and you can be sure that you're going to keep it dry, then it's great. It's probably one of the best ones on here. When I bought this, it came with a microphone as well, and we'll go into microphones later. But DJI kit, as you're going to see going through this, is fantastic. And it nicely folds away when you turn it off. Comes with this great little carry case, so you can put it in your pocket and go. But now, like I said, I mainly use it as either a second camera or a shore-based camera, or anywhere I know I'm going to be dry, and that's about it. Great for vlogging though. Third least used camera. This is a bit further afield because it's not really what I would class as a vlogging camera, but I do really like using it, and it is one of my old business cameras, because this is the Canon mirrorless R7. It's a very good camera. The photos of it are brilliantly and crisp. The 4K footage is fantastic, and it is a fantastic piece of kit. However, it's expensive. It's not really waterproof. It's not really small. It's not really lightweight. So in fact, the only redeeming features of it, and they are massive redeeming features, is the quality of the footage it puts out. If you want that cinematic feel, these cameras are fantastic. If you want that cinematic feel on a budget, yeah, these aren't great. You'd be better off trying with the last one, with the Osmo Pocket 3, because you can change the filters on that as well, and that's got a few more settings that you can mess around with. So you can change the lenses on it, so you can change the focal lengths, so you can play around with it, and you can get all kinds of different shots, and they will look amazing. You can put filters on, so you can get away with the water glare. You can do lots of trick photography with them, as you can with every other type of pro camera, and it's great to have on board if I see that kind of shot that I really want, or that really cinematic ending shot, or there's a, I'll put it now, there's a clip sailing at sunset across Lyme Bay, and I think it looks fantastic. And stuff like that, it looks amazing for. But as an everyday YouTube vlogging sailing channel camera, it's just not feasible. But if you're after that extra bit of sparkle and panache is a word, I guess, or extra little zip to your videos, cinematic, then a mirrorless camera or a solid good DSLR pro camera kind of quality will elevate that footage to no end more than, say, a GoPro would. Phones are still very good at that, and like I said earlier, if you get the phone apps on them so you can mess around with those kind of settings, you'll get something similar, but nothing really beats the quality of a DSLR or a mirrorless camera. But like I said, don't get used that often. The only reason I keep it on the boat and don't sell it is because when it does get those additional shots that look cinematic and epic, they really do look epic, and that's the only reason I'll keep it. If I can't afford to pay the mortgage 1 month, it's gone. You know, as soon as I need the money for it, it's gone. But whilst I'm okay, it's staying to try and get that next epic shot to put in the next video. Not in this one, obviously, because this is just a tech video. But we'll see what happens this season. So, with that, moving on to the next one. Okay, so we've reached halfway. This is the middle ground. This is my fourth least and fourth most used piece of kit, and that is the Humble Drone. I use a DJI Mini, mainly due to drone laws in the UK. If you're going to think about flying one, do read up on them. You don't want to get caught out, especially if you're flying near certain areas of the coast. They are military sites and you can get into deeper trouble with them. It's a fantastic piece of kit. The shots, can't be argued, are fantastic. Watching boats sailing through the water or looking down shots on them always look incredible. But solo sailing, they are a bit of an issue, or certainly are for me anyway. Because if I'm sailing along, I don't want to keep trying to stop to land it. And also, I'm concentrating enough on keeping the boat going that I don't want to be looking away too long to get the drone down. That being said, these, I'll put on this camera, are fantastic. So this is a little 3D printed handle. If you've seen my previous videos, you know that I 3D print quite a fair few bits for this boat to repair things. And handles are another brilliant thing for it. Because catching this little thing as it's flying down on a rocking boat can be a nightmare. Last thing you want is a rotary blade catching you in the process. So this little handle goes on it, bolts over, so that you can catch it on the handle as it comes down to the deck, meaning that you keep all of these rotors out of your finger's way whilst the whole boat is rocking along. I'll normally only fly if there's 2 or more of us on the boat, purely so that someone else can be watching what's going on at sea or in control of the boat whilst I land. But it cannot be argued how good the content looks and how good the videos look with these things. The filters on them make them look incredible. You can get your sunset footage, you can get to track the boat along, and all that kind of stuff. Just looks fantastic. Again, there are different weight classifications, so don't just go out and buy a drone, because if you buy something like a Mavic or an Air now, I think are too heavy. They keep changing the drone law, so it's hard to keep up sometimes. If they're over 250 grams, they hit a different weight classification, which has got different rules. And aside from needing your operator's license, which is an online questionnaire kind of course kind of thing, and your operator ID, it can get into more paperwork. It all changed a few years ago. I did have a drone license for heavier drones back on the old system, but when they updated the law and changed it from the old training system, I didn't get a change of renewal on my license because of the new classifications. I didn't need it to fly this one, so I didn't see the point. But yeah, drones, fantastic pieces of kit. Just a bit more aware for me when solo sailing, but it does come with me on every sailing venture, because at least if I can't use it while I'm sailing, it'll also look very good after I've anchored to show a little quick around of where I am or whatever else is going on. So yeah, drones, fantastic pieces of kit. And again, DJI. Big fan of DJI. I'll explain more on that later. Okay, so now we're on to my 3rd most used camera. And to be fair, these top 3 are used in every video, so they could all easily be on the first spot, but there's a few different pros and cons that made me rank them. So here we go. Number 3. This is an Insta360. 360 camera, and this is an X3. So I've had this for a fair few years. I think we're now on the X5. So if Insta want to send me out a new one, let me know. But this has not faulted me since I bought it. It's small, it's lightweight, its battery life is pretty good. I think a full charge filming at 4K is about 3 hours, maybe 2. And it does display a little LED to let me know when the batteries are getting low, which of course is handy because usually I use it at the back of the boat to film the boat. It is waterproof, which is a big plus factor, which is why it's on the back of the boat. However, it is waterproof, but you can't use it in water. 2 slightly different things. If it rains on it or it gets dunked, it's absolutely fine. If you want to film underwater, you can't use it as it is. You have to buy, don't get sent it, you have to buy one of these, which is an Insta360 invisible dive case. Because, without getting too scientific, water molecules plus these camera lenses end up distorted. So what you've got to do is separate the two between a case, which is what this invisible dive case is, and then you can film underwater and get the same effects as what you get above water underneath. So yeah, pros so far. It's got a decent battery life for how much footage it puts out. Its weight is pretty good. It's small, it's lightweight. The batteries have their own smart charger as well, which is, as I've just said previously, I really like because it means I haven't got to worry about them. It's waterproof. It just cannot be used underwater without this. But by far its biggest plus point is also its biggest con. And that is that it is fantastic because it films 360 footage all the time on one click of a button, which means you can leave it in one place, press record, and you can sort it out later. You want to film what's behind you? Great. Want to film what's in front of you at the same time? Fantastic. You want to track yourself in post? You can do that too. But the file size is massive. And trying to sort it all out, depending on what editor you use, so I've used both DaVinci Resolve and Premiere Pro, neither of which support this really. I mean, they'd have plugins, but I would say that in my experience so far, they don't work very well. So I have to go into the Insta360 app, which is fantastic, and it works very well, but if I want to use that footage in a different editor, I have to take it into the 360 editor, make the clip I want, export that, then bring that into Premiere Pro or DaVinci, depending on what you're using on the day, and then put that into my YouTube video. So it's quite a lengthy process. And as of yet, because I'm only using the X3, I'm not sure if they changed it on the X5, if I want to track something, it tracks it in real time. So if I'm tracking a 30-minute clip, it's going to take at least 30 minutes to go through it all, depending on how much of a time you want to sit there and watch it. So yeah, it's fantastic. And for all these reasons is why I primarily use it as a bird's eye camera at the back of the boat, filming the boat going forward, because usually all I want to film is that wide angle at the back showing everything. Occasionally I want to film around me, but for that little bit I'll do it in the editor. But for the shot I mainly use it for, I usually go into the editor and I pick a screen that I want it to be. So when I say that, what I mean is when you go into the editor, you can pick the 360 degrees that it's filmed and then make it a rectangle to go into your video. So what I do is I position it to what I want it to be. I then lock it and then run the editor through the whole footage to make that one shot the whole footage rather than a 360. And then I put that in Premiere Pro and then I use that to make the YouTube videos. Like I said, versatile, fantastic piece of kit. It's just the editing side that lets it down for me because of how much longer it takes. But like I said, it's its biggest strength and its biggest con, because if you want to use it and film everything at the same time and then make a video out of just that one shot, which you can turn into about 4 afterwards, you can. So it just depends on what you want to use it for. I'll never not go without it, because for me it's brilliant to have just in case I need to. Scuba diving, I take this. It means I haven't got to worry about my camera when I'm scuba diving, because I should be worried about staying buoyant. And I've had some cool shots, especially scuba diving, where I've placed it like through holes in the rock and stuff. So, you know, brilliant camera, fantastic piece of kit, just gets let down by the amount of post-editing required to make it usable. Right then, my second most used camera and piece of kit is this. This is a DJI Nano. It only came out a few months ago, and it has fast become a staple of my cameras to use everywhere, because it serves many functions. You can attach it to its screen dock and use it like a GoPro, and you can see what you're doing. Or, more importantly, you can take it off into a micro camera, which I use all the time as my chest camera. It's small, it's not invasive, so it doesn't get in the way, and if you're out and about and you don't want a whacking great GoPro sticking out your chest, if you're filming yourself walking around or whatever, it's discreet. You can turn all the lights off of it, so it's small, and it can sit in your coat or your chest or whatever. It comes with a very clever little mount, which is a magnet, big square magnet. You put that underneath your jumper or t-shirt, and it just clips to the front of it. It's very strong. I've wore it while sailing and working the lines and everything else, and it luckily didn't fall off me. In fact, it never has fallen off me. Quick. We're all good. It's got the same sensor size as the Osmo Action 5, apparently. And it is, all in all, fantastic. If you want to change any of the settings on it, if you want to pair it to a microphone and stuff like that, you've got to do it with the dock. But it's great. Battery life, It has an internal battery on the small camera and an internal battery on the dock. The small camera, filming at 4K, lasts about 45 minutes to an hour, I think, maybe 40 minutes. I film a lot at 1080p, so I tend to get a bit more out of it. But when you place it back onto the smaller dock, it starts charging it straight away, and I think within half an hour it's about 3/4 full for me, which is really handy. Also, it's got internal storage on the little camera, so you film and keep filming as much as you want. You can link it up to the app on your phone, so you can use that as a screen rather than having to keep attaching this onto it. Get whatever angle you want set up on your head, on your body, on wherever, and press record and go. And then when you want to offload that footage, the memory card is inside this box here. You attach them together, offload the memory, and then you're good to go again with a fresh, clean camera. And you just keep going and going. For me, it's very versatile. It's a great travel camera because it's so small and it's got so many different uses. The only downside I really have with it is that it hasn't got any extra batteries to change over. So like this battery pack is it. I mean, I've kind of got around that by always having a battery pack charge this. If you can imagine, this isn't always on charge, but it's always got access to a charger if it needs to. So like a regular USB battery pack or whatever can charge this whilst it's charging this. So that way, constantly got power. The cons to it, you have to have it on this dock to alter the settings, or on the phone. If you pair it to the phone and use the app, then you can do everything that way as well. Battery life is obviously short. It's say 40 minutes, maybe to an hour tops if you're using lower resolutions. But for me, for what I'm filming it with, that's usually fine. It's certainly not a long session camera. Like what I'm filming now, the camera I'm using for this has been going currently for 23 minutes, maybe 24 minutes, as I'm filming this, attempting it in one take. So it's not, I wouldn't use this for this purpose, but it is great for a little in the moment or close-up action shots because it is so small. You know, you don't want something that's big and clunky getting in the way whilst you're wearing safety kit and stuff like that. And also, if you clip it to your hat, it is very, very light. It is by far the lightest on this list. Not when it's got that attached, admittedly, but like this, it is lightest. It's waterproof, so it's already got a bonus from me for sailing content, and it films in 4K 60, 4K 25, 1080p, all of those. So all in all, it works really well as one of my main cameras in my kit bag. And now I am going to have to use it for the next shot, because this is going to have to replace the one that's currently hanging up, as my most used camera is being used right now to film me. So we'll swap these over and then I'll show you what I'm using the most. So my most used camera, I'm actually still recording with it because it's got the microphone paired to it. I didn't want to change it over with the Nano, which obviously is now recording. So I'm filming myself on technically 3 cameras because I've got my other one doing a down shot. This is the Osmo Action 5 and it is a workhorse. I used to use GoPros. I used to really like GoPros, but the last 2 I've had have been terrible. One overheated just standing still, or like on a mountain where it shouldn't have. And the other one had battery after battery after battery problems. I just could not get it to hold battery life. And after you've invested so much money in 2 GoPros, you kind of give up a little bit with them. So I moved to DJI, primarily because my drones were DJI when I first started buying drones. Then I bought that Osmo Pocket, and that was fantastic, and the microphone it came with was fantastic. So I thought, well, since my GoPros are busted, why not give the DJI versions a go? And I've not really looked back since. It has been an absolute workhorse. It's basically the same as a GoPro. It works with the DJI app, which obviously on my phone now works with 4 different cameras, and there is something really good about having all of your kit work on the same app. I haven't got, well, apart from the Insta360, I haven't got like 6 different apps with 6 different cameras or whatever. Just one app does it all, so they update all the time themselves, automatically, and all that kind of stuff. It's a fantastic little camera. It has a variety of film modes. You can buy lenses to put on the top to give it more cinematic shots. You can put it in a dive case to go scuba diving with. You can buy a red filter to make the water look better underneath there. Battery life on these is incredible. So I'm filming these currently at 4K 25 frames per second on this, and it's telling me that a full battery charge is about 11 hours, 10, 11 hours of battery. That's like a whole day sailing for one battery. You buy the Creator Combo and you get a full battery smart charger, which again, similar to their drone version. Plug it in and the LEDs on the side tell you the condition of the batteries inside. These ones are color coded, these ones are numbered dots. And you can easily open it up, swap them over and carry on charging the rest. It uses the same Bluetooth microphone that both the Nano, which is currently obviously working, and the Pocket all use. So I haven't got to buy separate microphones for separate pieces of kit. I haven't got to buy any adapters, which is another big bugbear I had with GoPro, was that I couldn't buy a Bluetooth microphone to go on the GoPro. I had to buy an adapter to plug that in for a DJI microphone anyway. Kind of helped me seal the deal on just buying DJI kit. But yeah, by far the most used camera. It has gone on every trip with me. I've dropped it from a mast. In this, it was only in the skeleton case. It wasn't even in a big plastic safety case. So it fell from the top of my mast and was absolutely fine. And its audio quality is great. Its video quality is fantastic. Its memory card spots. I think I've got a 256 gigabyte one in there at the moment. And it reads that absolutely fine. There's no speed issues. And it is, all in all, a fantastic piece of kit. One really good bit is that it's got a screen at the back, obviously, but if you're vlogging and you've got a problem, you've got a screen at the front as well. So you can see yourself, which is now me looking through the third camera, you can see yourself filming and give you an idea of what your shot's going to look like without having to get a phone out to look as well. And you can also, it's got a touch screen on the front, so you can change the settings on the screen if you want to tweak anything, if it's in a cradle or something. So yeah, fantastic, most used piece of kit. So if you're only here for the camera talk, that's it. I'm now going to talk about a couple of mounts that I use. In fact, you can see here, the Nano is currently on a different setup here. I had the Pocket set up on one here, and ironically my phone is actually being used for this one on this mount. So let's talk mounts, and for this I'm probably going to put them on the table and talk down onto them and show you. So let's do that. The Action 5 is set up now on my chart table, and we're going to talk mounts. That's the case for it. Mounts will come in all shapes and sizes. If you go on to Amazon and type in GoPro mount, you'll get hundreds, usually of cheap Chinese ones. And they'll be trying to just put on like a multi-pack of loads of stuff that you don't really need. I use 3 mounts, maybe? I suppose technically if you break it down it's a bit more, but let's go through them. So first and foremost, I'll take this one off of here. Most of my stuff is attached on the GoPro premise, the little buttons there. I'll tell you what I didn't talk about, and that was lighting. This is a small rig light. I'm only going to use it now because I realise this is a little bit dark on the footage. So, boom, let there be light. That's a bit harsh. So if we stick it up, how am I going to place this so it's not so harsh? We want it to come from above. Cool. It's 2:45 in January, so the sun is setting early by the looks of it. Mounts, right, so one of the main staples I use are these magic clamps. Small Rig make them, a couple of other companies, copy companies or other ones make them, and basically they're an all-round mount that you can clamp onto something, which usually for me is a beam, a step, or the companionway roof. Clamp that on, use this to alter how the camera sits, and then quite simply stick the camera in the end there. If I'm using the DJIs, one big plus point with DJI, certainly the Osmo and the Nano, not the Pocket 3 because it doesn't do this, is that they have magnetic clamps. So you take the DJI mount, You all know how to do a GoPro mount, it's not difficult. But they have this little system, which is magnetic clamped at the bottom. So you take the nano camera, and it will just simply clamp onto the bottom there. And if you want to change quickly to a different camera shot that you've already got set up with a different mount, you just take it off and place it onto the next one. Or onto your chest, which I've done quite a lot in my videos. I'll take the cockpit camera and I'll just unclip it, take it from the cockpit, put it straight on my chest, and away we go. Speaking of chest, this is the nano. I told you it was magnetic. And there it is. That's the one it comes with. And there we go. You just place that over your head, take your nano camera and clip it on like so. You can raise and lower it on the cord, and it's nice and quick and easy for taking on and off if you want to place it on the mount on the side of the boat or wherever else. Pick it up and away we go. They've got cap mounts, they've got hat mounts, like the little clip-on ones, not the massive ones, so you can put it on quite discreetly on top. I did the last trip in Norway with a hat mount for the whole trip. Just a little one, clip on the front. But they work with the nano, like I said, just like this. They only go one way because of the magnets, and like that. And they also work with the Osmo, like so. But sometimes that's not enough. So what you can do, once you tighten that up and then take that off, what you can do is add in an extension pole. This happens to be the DJI one, so it already comes with the GoPro connection at the top. But then you can take your clamp it onto whatever it needs to be on, and then extend that out and then put the camera on. I've actually got the reverse here, so rather than the pole going up, it's going down. You'll see that it's clamped on the companionway, and then it's coming down to film me there. And then this magic clamp usually lives up here and faces downwards. Now with the Osmo Pocket 3, you can do something similar. They come with these little square mounts. Same deal, they connect to the GoPro connector on the top of the sticks, and all you do is slide the battery or the body into them, and that holds it there in place. They work only by friction though. It is quite a tight fit, so I'm not too worried about it coming loose. But like I said, if you're just using it for vlogging or in somewhere dry, you could always just put a mini tripod on the bottom on the screw thread and use that instead. I only have one because it occasionally gets used mounted onto that beam in front of me here, and it makes good on there. Other mounts, what else do I use? This is another magnet one. It's just a bit tougher. So the Osmo mini magnet goes straight to the back of the camera, but if I want to use the action on my chest, I have to use an actual mount. So this is just the same thing again. It just puts a magnet onto the back of the camera as a mount onto my chest. It's a much more powerful magnet. If I was out sailing a bit rougher, or I was a little bit more worried about the camera, I would use this one because it is a much more tougher magnet connection. Or if I'm going out somewhere that I deem really rough and I don't want to trust a magnet, I will use something like this. And this is a chest mount, basically. I don't like the big GoPro ones that make you look like you're wearing a harness. This is quite simply a neck mount with a waist strap. So that goes around your neck, which places the GoPro, or DJI Osmo in this case, on your chest. Again, I have the magnetic quick swap already attached here so that I can take it on and off from wherever I am. And then all this does is this strap goes round. There's two here, don't need that one. This strap goes round your back, under your arms, around your waist and comes back on. And the three of them, or the 2 points, hold that in place and hold that down on your chest. And you really haven't got to worry about it. If you really didn't want the magnetic bit, you could skip it out and just put a regular attachment on there and just hard attach it to it. But for me, magnets have never let me down on the clamps. And with that, you can obviously undo it and adjust it however you want. This is the most secure chest fastening I've got. I may use it a few times if I'm in rough weather, but for me, I just prefer doing the magnet off my chest or clip on and off. Mainly because this is like another thing to wear. You know, you're already wearing a life jacket, your jumpers, your coats and everything else. Having that on top is just something else I might not need. And that's about it on mounts. I only really use these clamps along with these extension poles and the chest mounts. Nothing else really for filming. The cockpit shot is just the mount straight onto a DJI magnet fitting. The 360 mount at the back of the boat is just a quick clamp with a full long pole to give the full over boat shot. And I put the magnet on under my t-shirt or jumper to do the action shots. And that's pretty much how I film everything. Lastly, we will talk about microphones and also bring up quite an important thing when considering this stuff. So, when I bought the Osmo Pocket 3, it came with DJI Mic 2, which is a Bluetooth microphone, and it's fantastic. It has done everything I've asked it to. It has got noise cancelling, it's got Bluetooth recording, I can tell the camera to record using the mic, so I haven't got to keep getting back and forward to press record. In fact, I did it now with this one, but with a different microphone. And by far the best piece of kit I've got. Ironically, I put it out for charge last night before I was making these videos and didn't pick it up this morning. Which brings me on to something called redundancy. You can have all the best plans in the world, and they usually have a hiccup at some point, or something goes wrong, or something breaks, or a memory card isn't working properly, which is why it's important to have redundancies or backups. In my case, I picked up a DJI mini mic for 25 quid, I think, in the Black Friday sales on Amazon. Technically last year now, because it's January. And I haven't actually used it barely much at all other than to test it, and I left it in my kit bag in a what-if scenario. And it just came ironically that the day that I was filming the tech video, I left behind my main microphone. And I've now had to film the entire thing with the backup microphone. So, from what I tested, it sounded just as good. We'll find out in post when I get home and put it on Premiere Pro. But yeah, microphones are very important. Microphones are very good at up-leveling your content, because if they can't hear what you're saying, then they're not going to watch. People turn off from content faster because of poor audio quality than actual poor video. If you can't hear what they're saying, what's the point in staying in the first place? So yeah, DJI mic, or if you don't want to put out the budget, there is DJI mic 3 now as well. But again, they're expensive. You can pick up these for 25, 30 quid, I think they are, for a single microphone that'll Bluetooth straight to your camera. If you want to buy the whole set, which you can then plug into a phone or a big camera, and it comes with 2 microphones, I think that's about 50 quid, I think, currently. Which again, bargain cheap for a microphone setup for 2 mics for anything. So yeah, have a look at that. I've already talked through the camera, the light that I use, my little small rig one, that was like 30 quid, I think. Great for lighting things up. And then lastly, I have one of these for storing memory cards. There's nothing much to talk about it. It's a PGY Tech piece of kit, and all you do is store all your cards into it so you can keep organised on what's been used and what's not. I carry anywhere between 4 and 10 memory cards a time when I'm out filming. All my memory cards are of the Pro variety because the 360 camera will not work with a regular memory card. One thing I forgot to mention on that there, you need to use a high-speed card, so you're talking about something like a SanDisk Extreme, Otherwise, you'll find it doesn't write. So if you've got one of these grey and red ones, like this one here, it won't record the 360 camera very well. The gold and red ones are what you need. But other than that, that's memory cards. And that, I think, is about it. Well, quickly, another thing that I forgot to mention about was how I store it all. So in case anyone's interested in how I cart all this kit around, the main creator stuff is in this. It's very simply a multi-pouch thing I bought off Amazon. The first level has got my mounts in, so it's got the quick clamps, the stick, that's a foldable tripod, or little base one. It's only small. But pretty good. They all go in there, and then the DJI magnetized mounts are all in there, spare batteries for other bits and pieces. And then the next level is the cameras. So the Insta360, that's the Nano in its own little case, and then the Osmo, which is currently being used here, goes in there. There's the dive case for it, and the red filter for scuba diving. And then these are the chest mounts and a sucker mount, which I'm yet to use, but it's there just in case. And then this light and this mount go in here. And it all packs down into this little case so that everything is organised. All the batteries are already in it. The only thing I bring extra is this, which is my Osmo 3 case. Because of how much kit this is, it needs its own little case. So this is the Osmo Pocket 3 with its batteries. It's got a couple of extra mounts that are only for that. So this mount is purely for the Osmo 3 and it's a magnet mount, but it also doubles up as a table tripod mount. So it will fold out flat, but otherwise that will stick to radiators or metal poles or whatever. But because it's only for the Osmo, it stays in the Osmo box. Same with that. That stays in there. That one just gets thrown in the bottom of the bag in case I need to use it. If I haven't got space for that, I just take this one. And then that is about all of the kit. The only thing extra is battery banks if I need to charge up any extra stuff, which usually go in a travel bag, such as this one. If I need an extra battery bank, this will go in a travel bag. Any other chest mounts that I need, or if I think I need anything extra, I just pack in an extra bag or have alongside, like that heavy duty chest mount, which is this one. It's too big to go inside the other kit, so if I need it, I'll bring it with me separately. But like I said before, I don't really use this one, only if I'm in heavy seas, and I know when I'm going to be in heavy seas before I actually go, so most of the time. So I only pack it if I need it. Otherwise, it'll stay at home. But yeah, so that's storage. Anyway, back to the video. Right, one more thing. This isn't technically tech. This is very important to me. So this, I'm a geek, so it's a Lord of the Rings notebook. But the notebook I use to plan. Not script, because I don't tend to script my stuff. I don't know if you can tell. But what I do is bullet point, so the important bits. And it also helps me plan what I need. There's nothing worse than getting here and realising that I've forgotten something that I need. Ironically, I know I've forgotten the Mic 3 for this video. But I thought I had it. So yeah, video ideas. This is today's video. List all the camera kit I was going to talk about, pros and cons, a couple of subjects to cover each one, and that's about it. But it always makes things easier if you've got a form of plan to follow when you're making videos. If you're doing a vlog video of sailing along, then admittedly, you know, you kind of just comment and go with the flow and whatever happens. But for more planned videos, bullet points, notebooks, fantastic. Right, now back to the regular video. So that is everything that I use, or have used, or may use when making my videos. The core three, or the last three, are the DJI Osmo Action 5, the Nano, and the 360 camera. Do I need all three? No. I can do it with one. You don't need all different shots, I just like having them. If I was to recommend only having one camera, it would be the Osmo Action 5, without a doubt. They've just brought out the 6, but from what I've seen, it's more technical. so it's not a little bit less plug and play, I think, or push and shoot. I haven't looked at it yet, so I can't talk on it. But the Action 5 has been fantastic. I've dived it to, how deep did I go? How deep was it? 19, 20 meters without a dive case. Admittedly, don't do that. It's not what the manufacturers recommend. I just completely forgot to put it in a dive case before I went. It did make the speaker a little crackly afterwards for about a month or two, but it's still fine now. So I bought a dive case, and I won't be doing that again. But it is very good. I've dropped it off of a mast. I've taken it 20 meters below. I really have put it through its paces, and it still works absolutely fine with the microphone attached. And it's really easy to use. So if that was my only one camera to recommend, it would be that. But let me know in the comments what you think. What do you use? Do you find that you don't get on with anything that I've said here? Or maybe you might pick up something that I've displayed here that you might think would suit your channel well. If you want to talk drone tech, please do. And also, I have not gone into much in terms of shooting settings, because that's not what this video is about. If you want me to do a video about settings for cameras and setups for lenses and stuff like that, let me know. I'll happily film one of those. I've got enough kit to talk through that for another 25 minutes. But yes, so if you've made it this far, thank you for watching. If you've liked this video, please like the video, comment below, subscribe to the channel, all the usual stuff. If you really like what I do and want to support me more, please use the extra options available by either becoming a YouTube member, Patreon, or the Buy Me a Coffee links down below. And until we see you on the next one, thank you for watching, take care, and we'll see you again. Goodbye.